I think what separates us from other companies is that we pay attention to our patients. We individualize their treatment plan. We take our time and use our manual therapy skills and our hands to actually work on every patient. These patients aren't just a number. We're actually trying to help them, and we listen to their needs and what works best for them.
LionsPTLV.com, 702-476-0222.
Hello, friends. This is Thomas Johnson from Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. Need a great idea for lunch or dinner? Your best bet is Joe's, one of the most popular dining destinations on the Strip. Joe's provides the ideal setting for private parties with accommodations for up to 150 guests. Stop by to see us at the Forum Shops at Caesars and ask for Thomas Johnson, your maitre d'.
And if you've got, that your phone Rolodex, if you want to call it that, Joe's number should be in there. So you can just bing, tap it. It dials itself. And then you can make your reservations at 702-792-9222. Don't forget to follow Joe's on Twitter at Joe's Vegas. Marco, where are we going today with our angle of the day?
All right, this comes from our buddy Ralph Michaels, and it's going to be one of those double-edged swords. We've got two teams heading in the same direction for a total, and that's Texas A&M. On the road, Dave, 10-4-1 to the over. And how about LSU? 8 straight overs at home. Those two converge tonight, and we're going to go over. Number currently at 148.5 over Texas A&M and LSU.
And, of course, if you've been following the Joe's Angle of the Day, just blind following it, you've been winning a substantial amount.
You can get a nice meal at Joe's very easily with the winnings.
And you can take someone with you, too.
There you go.
All right, time to look at the Atlanta Braves, who were one of the big stories in baseball last year. The Braves maybe getting a little ahead of schedule. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't think they're going to be contenders down the road with the outstanding array of young prospects on the team, but I don't think a lot of people expected them to be there this soon. And they had a terrific 2018, and prospects are bright for them in 2019. Let's check out the Braves and see what we think, getting you some updated numbers on them as far as the present odds at Superbook USA. They are 1,800, plus 1,800 to win the World Series, plus 900 to win the National League, plus 300 to win the NL East, and the over and under win prop on them right now is 86 wins.
Yeah, Dave, the problem you have with a team that got to the party a year sooner than expected, maybe even 2 years. I mean, this is a team that we definitely saw them improving, but, man, they jumped it up last year. You got a lot of things that have to repeat themselves. Last year, Fulton Evans had, his best year pitching. You need him to come back and have that type of year again. Teheran, this is a guy that, years past, Dave, he's been all over the place. You never know which one you're going to get. You need the good one more often. We talked about just before we came out of break, I was asking you with Kevin Gosman coming over, from Baltimore. This is a guy that he's got mediocre stuff. I've never been a big fan of being overwhelming, but, maybe the change of leagues. I like the guys, from the American League to the National League. Usually they step it up. But I'll tell you the one move I do like of the offseason, and I know he had a down year last year, but he had an extended, stretches of being on the injured list, and that was Josh Donaldson. If he comes back to anything near what he's been over the last few years, that's going to be a big help for this team in two areas. One, obviously, is going to give you that instant power, and this team's already had a lot of scoring ability last year. This will make them even more deadly because then you can't pitch around people in the lineup. But it gives you a veteran leadership on a team where there are some young players on this team. I like that move. I don't know how you feel about it.
Well, look, veteran leadership, no question about that. The key is, what's left in the tank and how healthy can he stay. And that also applies to Brian McCann, who's back with the Braves now, and he'll be in tandem with Tyler Flowers because Kurt Suzuki has moved on. That gives them a potential lefty-righty platoon behind the plate, or they'll go with however they want to mix and match as far as preference of pitchers with catchers. But that's two veterans back there who can handle the duties behind the plate. Freddie Freeman is really one of the overlooked superstars in the game of baseball. Freddie Freeman's a great player.
Yeah, well, when he's healthy, he's one of the best in the league, and you got to keep him healthy.
Ozzie Albies, he is a top prospect. Okay, Albies does a lot of terrific things on the field. I'd like to maybe see him swing a little less. I think at times he's a little bit caught up in this launch angle stuff, and I'd rather see him spraying the ball all over the field, even if it means less home runs. Let his speed do the work and hit for a better average. To me, he's a guy who's capable of hitting 300, but maybe with less power. There's enough power in this team, so he doesn't have to be trying to jerk the ball out of the stadium all the time. Shortstop, we'll see on Dansby Swanson, who's starting the season hurt. He's hurt right now. They've got Camargo, who we didn't even mention, who filled the bill adequately last year and ended up mostly as the regular third baseman. Assuming Donaldson's now the third baseman, Camargo will be the utility guy. And you're not going to do much better than Camargo as far as the utility guy is concerned. And then there's the kid in left field, and Ronald Acuna. This is a guy who could win an MVP down the road. And we just got a little bit of a taste with Acuna last year, and he is going to be an absolute star, and I think he's going to be a star right away. Center field, Enciardi, solid enough defensively. He'll contribute offensively. Nick Markakis had a fabulous year last year. I don't know where it came from, to be honest with you, because Markakis looked like a guy who had been declining, and then he just has this fabulous year last year. And I don't know, unless he gets old overnight, I don't see why Markakis can't put up similar numbers this year. He did a phenomenal job for that team last year. The bench looks to be pretty good. You got Adam Duvall is not the worst guy in the world. Ryan Lamar probably makes the roster. Pedro Floreman can fill in. Charlie Culberson, one of the super subs in the game. There's a lot to like on this team. The pitching, Fultonevich, Tehran, Gossman, Newcomb, Toussaint, and I think the last spot is flexible. It could be Gohara, it could be Freed. You even get Kobe Allard in the mix. The bullpen, I like the bullpen. Despite the fact that there's not that one dominant guy, because Vizcaino I don't really put in that class. But I like the overall look of the bullpen. They've got a lot of good guys out there who I think are fairly reliable. So you can never predict in advance that a bullpen is going to be sensational, but I think you can predict in advance whether a bullpen will be at least adequate.
Right.
And I look at the Braves bullpen and I see at least adequate there. The 86, here's the tough part about the 86. I think they're one of the better teams in baseball. The problem is you could have four of the better teams in baseball all in one division. Take out the Marlins, and there's really not a bad team in that division. The Mets are improved. The Phillies could be really good. The Nationals, I don't think the Nationals are going to win the division, but they're not going to be a bad team.
No, they've gone from a good team to just above average team.
Well, yeah, but if you keep Scherzer and Strasburg healthy at the top of the rotation, and now you've added Corbin, I'll tell you, that's a top three. And you can win a lot of games with a top three like that.
For sure. I mean, you get those guys that are going to pitch you a lot of two-run games.
Yeah.
You're not going to miss the bat of, Harper and such. For me, the Braves, it all comes down to this. Does Fulton-Evans repeat last year, okay? And does Newcomb take the next step? Because he showed signs last year.
Good stuff.
Brilliant stuff.
Control he's got to get the control under control.
If those two things happen, I think they easily hit the 86. If Fulton-Evans repeats and Newcomb takes the next step forward, that's to me. And like I said, if Donaldson stays healthy and has any kind of year, that lineup's going to be really, really potent.
Well, a healthy Donaldson in tandem with Acuna and Freeman. Boy, that's a trio you could put up against anybody and not feel bad about your chances.
Right, and like I said, it changes. You talk about one guy making a difference. Not necessarily one guy making a difference, but it changes how you can't in spots. You can't pitch around people whenever you've got two guys in a lineup back to back. It cuts the moves down, and I think it's a great addition for them and give them that stability with the veteran.
And the other thing is that there's not really the pressure on the Braves as well as they played last year. The team with the real heat in this division is the Phillies. I mean, the Phillies spent a lot of money. They might even be spending more if they sign Harper. And they're going to go, despite the fact that they ended up a 500 team last year, 80 and 82, I think it was. I think the Phillies are the team that they're going to need to perform. Their manager will be under fire if they don't. The Braves, as good as they were last year, this is maybe one of the benefits of being down in Atlanta. You don't get as much of the glare in the national spotlight as some other teams. And I think for a team with a lot of young pieces that need to keep on improving, that could be a real plus for them.
especially if Philadelphia, wins the Derby here and gets Harper, because then everything changes. The focus is clearly not on Atlanta then.
Right.
It goes to Philadelphia. So then you don't have that pressure of the bullseye on your back. And the other thing, Dave, is if Harper does land there, this 86 is going to change on Atlanta, because if Harper goes to Philly, you got to add wins to Philly. If you're adding wins to Philly, you got to take them off of somebody in the division. They'll take probably, half a game or a game off of each.
With the imbalanced schedule, you have to do that.
Yeah, so I think it will create a lot of value for Atlanta if Harper lands in Philly.
Yeah, I was looking. Ideally, I wanted like an 84. Didn't get that. So as of now, it's a no play for me. But I think I'd lean to the over in this team. I really like the young mix in the squad. I like the manager as well. And I just don't see any real, you know what it is? There's no real glaring holes in the team. You might not be exactly where you want to be in terms of the pitching staff. There's some uncertainty there, but I don't think there are holes there. And look, I mean, I won't rule it out. If they have trouble at the back of the rotation with the 4 and the 5, if Newcomb's control doesn't get steadier, if the number 5 spot remains a problem, you got some good guys in the bullpen, and you could. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but I wouldn't rule it out. You could go to an opener situation with Atlanta where they decide, okay, we've got so many good bullpen arms. We could take somebody like a Gohara and make him a 1-inning or 2-inning guy. It's possible. There is flexibility on this staff.
Dave, after what Tampa Bay did last year, how many teams do you think are going to adopt that this year?
I don't know. But it makes sense. If you're weak at the back of your rotation, shorten the game. For whoever the so-called starter
is. You saw Milwaukee go to it in the postseason. Yep. They weren't doing it during the year to try it. So, I mean, it is definitely something, it's the new, in vogue thing to do because they saw somebody else. I mean, every sport's a copycat league.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
And when it works.
Yeah, everybody's going to copy it. So it's going to be one of those things that I think we're going to see a lot more of it, and it's going to change how we have to handicap a little bit.
We got a game tonight at the T-Mobile that I think this has more interest than most games because the Golden Knights have been slumping lately, but they brought in the new catalyst in Mark Stone. He'll make his debut tonight. We're going to look at that in our Wager Talk marquee matchup next.
The Las Vegas Sportsline.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000 or more will pay for those renovations with a high-interest credit card. That may not be a great idea. A better idea may be to take cash out of your home with a Quicken Loans 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.5%, APR 4.78%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate subject to change. Pay 2% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
If you're lucky enough to live near the Napoli's Pizzeria on Warm Springs Road or the location on West Sahara, you're in for a treat. During game time, these two locations are offering a one-topping 18-inch pizza and 10 wings for just $25.99. That's a huge one-topping 18-inch pizza and 10 wings for $25.99. And don't forget, whenever there's a football game on, beer is just $2 at Napoli's. When you crave great pizza, Napoli's Pizzeria is the place to go. For the complete menu, just click LasVegasPizzeria.com.
NASCAR crashes Las Vegas.
Big damage on Kurt Busch's car.
For Pennzoil 400 weekend.
Had a lot of smoke in the cockpit.
It's high stakes and insane speed at America's racing showplace.
He'll pinch Joey Logano to the middle group.
Pennzoil 400 weekend tickets are going fast at LVMS.com or call 800-644-4444.
Cash in big and leave Las Vegas a winner.
NASCAR's fastest weekend at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Ready to check off your list for less? Time for a Target run. Find everything you need for those get-it-done days. Stop by for low prices on laundry essentials like Tide or Downy that'll get you from hamper to drawer in a pinch. Or get rolling with Bounty or Cottonelle paper towels. And for even more list toppers, make a short stop for Sherman or Up and Up bath tissue, all priced right daily with low prices today and every day. Get in, out, and on your way to a clean hooray. Target run and done.
Let's say you just bought a house. Bad news is, you're one step closer to becoming your parents. You'll proudly mow the lawn. Ask if anybody noticed you mowed the lawn. Tell people to stay off the lawn. Compare it to your neighbor's lawn. And complain about having to mow the lawn again. Good news is, it's easy to bundle home and auto through Progressive and save on your car insurance. which, of course, will go right into the lawn. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
I'm Dave Cokin.